Good day, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss about the differentiated assessment. Are you ready to learn? Introduction. Differentiated assessment was created by Carol Ann Tomlinson. According to her, differentiation is an instructional approach to help teachers teach with individuals as well as content in mind. Differentiation really means trying to make sure that teaching and learning work for the full range of students, which really should be our goal as future teachers. As a way to differentiate instruction, a teacher may implement the theory of multiple intelligences. The theory was developed by Howard Gardner in the early 1980s and states that each person has several distinct intelligences correlating with a specific part of the brain.
Differentiated assessment. Differentiated assessment is the way by which teachers modify and match assessment with the varied characteristics or profiles of students in order to meet the students' individual needs, thereby enhancing their learning and boosting their ability to show what they have learned. Students differ in their previous learning experiences, readiness, learning styles, preferences, academic standing, abilities, strengths, and weaknesses, culture, race, and background. Teachers use differentiated assessment to match and respond to the varying learning needs of diverse students in a classroom. By differentiating assessments, teachers help diverse students to successfully demonstrate their competencies in particular ways that are fitting and effective for them. By providing various assessment methods or activities appropriate for particular types of students, the teachers are able to meet the students' individual needs, thereby helping them to be successful in their learning. Differentiated assessment may take into account the differences between individual students, such as their current level of understanding and ability in relation to a particular topic or skill. Next is prior learning experiences. Third, learning preferences. Second to the last is motivation and engagement with learning. And lastly, interest and talents.
These are the principles of differentiated assessment. The first one is collecting data before, during, and after teaching and learning experiences. So, why do we need to collect data before, during, and after teaching and learning experiences? So, we need to collect data for the teacher to drive their decisions and plans, and by that, they are able to respond to problems more effectively, construct new teaching methods, and advance skill sets faster. Current studies indicate that teachers in schools with data-focused programs think using data improves instruction significantly. The second one is using the evidence to identify a student's needs and strengths. So why do we need to use the evidence to identify a student's needs and strengths? Advocates of student portfolios argue to compiling, reviewing, and evaluating student work over time can provide a richer, deeper, and more accurate picture of what students have learned and are able to do than more traditional measures, such as standardized tests, quizzes, or final exams that only measure what learnings they have learned. The third principle is that using assessment information to guide differentiated teaching and learning. So why do we need to use assessment information to guide different teaching and learning? It is because assessment is an integral part of instruction, as it determines whether or not the goals of education are being met. Assessments affects decisions about grades, placement, advancement, instructional needs, curriculum, and some cases of funding. The fourth one is providing alternative methods and choices for students to demonstrate their knowledge, understanding, and skills. So, why do we need to provide alternative methods to students? It is because alternative assessment encourages learners to step out of their comfort zones and think outside the box. Students learn to think, analyze, apply their knowledge to create solutions to different problems. It is fair and transparent process of determining student proficiency levels. The fifth one is considering what resources and stimulus materials will assist students. So why do we need to consider or to think the importance of teachers to consider using alternative assessment? It is because they provide a means of assessing valued skills that cannot be directly assessed with traditional tests. They provide a more realistic setting for student performance than traditional tests. They focus on student performance and the quality of work performed by students. The sixth one is providing opportunities to challenge students within their level of understanding and beyond. So why do we need to provide opportunities to challenge the students? Challenge is the core of the growth mindset. Without it, students don't get the opportunities to take risks, learn to fail, and figure out how to pick themselves up again. This sense of progress, as Educ calls, it is central to developing growth mindsets. The seventh one is providing individualized feedback to students to help identify strengths and areas for improvement. So why do we need to provide feedback to students? Providing feedback means giving students an explanation of what they are doing correctly and incorrectly, with the focus of the feedback on what the student is doing right. It is most productive to a student's learning when they are provided with an explanation as to what is accurate and inaccurate about their work. The eighth one is accommodating a range of student needs through flexible assessment, planning, and adjustments. So why do we need to have accommodations in the classroom? Why is it important? It is because accommodations provide support that allows students with disabilities to achieve the same instructional goals as students without disabilities. It's important to note that accommodations do not change the expectations for learning, and it will not reduce the requirements of the task.
When planning differentiated assessment opportunities for students, teachers should consider the nature of the test instrument, including teacher-made tests, interest surveys, anecdotal evidence, performance-based activities, checklist of traits and characteristics, cognitive, intellectual, and standardized achievement tests. From the list of Zach Burris, Dave Messer, and Judith Dodge, here are some ways of differentiating assessments. First is designing tiered activities. This is an instructional practice that allows students the opportunity to journey toward their grade level standard. Second is scaffolding struggling learners. This is a process through which teachers add supports for students in order to enhance learning and aid in the mastery of tasks. Third is challenging advanced learner with more or mid-stimulating activities. Teachers challenge students with high intellectual needs and resort to assigning extra work, letting them read independently or assist other students. Fourth is adjusting questions. Teachers should adjust the questions based on the ability and learning styles of the students. Fifth is compacting. This is a differentiation method that teachers can use to make sure that all of the students are challenged. Sixth is flexible grouping. This provides opportunities for students to be part of many different groups based on their readiness, interest, and learning styles. Seventh is flexible assignments and tasks based on students' learning styles. This is a method of learning where students are given freedom in how, what, when, and where they learn. It also refers to the variation of themes, environment, and deadlines. And lastly is learning contracts. This is also called as the goal contract. This can help you set transparent expectations for students. This can also help reflect students on how they learn.
Asking students to do role playing is an exercise gives students the opportunity to assume the role of a person or act out a given situation. This can be performed by individual, in pairs or groups, which can play out a more complex scenario. Next is unit collage. This help in structuring, developing, analyzing, and presenting visual issues that are difficult to express in words. Within this, it helps your child build fine motor skills. It's also a fun way to encourage your child's awareness of color and texture. The next is individual project. This helps students to develop the capacity to learn without always leaning on others. This can hopefully lead to some sense of learner autonomy, which is a critical goal of many teachers. As students rely on their own resources, it strengthens them learning to learn on their own. The next one is visual presentation. This refers to the expression of ideas about some matters while using visual aids such as visual multimedia, from electronic media such as television, screen, and web. The other one is the oral presentation. This, also known as public speaking or simply presentation, consists of an individual or group verbally addressing an audience on a particular topic. The aim of this is to educate, inform, entertain, or present an argument. The next one is written presentation. Written presentation are a powerful way to share ideas if you create a deck that communicates your points clearly and effectively. Other communication factors might influence your presentation success, like your oratory techniques and body language. The next one is summaries and reflection. When a teacher wants the students to gain more from an assignment than just a pile of facts, they often assign a reflective summary. The task requires an explanation of how a lesson improves your understanding of a subject or skill at doing job. The next one is organizer. Organizer are useful educational factors in any subject area. This helps students organize their thoughts and ideas for answering questions. Another one is collaborative activities, or any activities where learners are working cooperatively in pairs or groups. For examples, pair or group discussions, completing shared tasks in a pair or group, matching, sorting, ranking activities or games with competitive elements, drama and role play. The next and the last one is comics. It's a publication that consists of comics art in the form of sequential, juxtaposed panels that represent individual scenes.
That ends for our discussion for today. We hope that you learned something out from it. Thank you for listening. Have a great day ahead.